All right, here we go. So after scanning everything today, scanning the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, the S&P, we've got the strongest readings on the NASDAQ here to go short. Strongest readings on the NASDAQ so far to go short. Okay. Out of everything that we're looking at. Okay, so here's the NASDAQ. Let's go over it real quick so that you understand what I'm talking about. NASDAQ, 3-hour chart, extended trend pulling back, right? We've got to get down here below the 50 simple. That's what we know. CCI, very strong, below negative 200. 1-hour chart, below the 50 simple. Good, that's what we want. Look at the CCI, guys. CCI below negative 200 as well on the 1-hour and 3-hour. Very strong readings. Okay. If I see a bearish candle form the opening range, I'm going to go short. It's kind of getting held up here. It's kind of stopping here. It could be that this is the beginning of another upward move on the 3-hour chart, but either way, with all this downward momentum, maybe it pulls back up to here, and then makes another move down. Don't know. But we need a lot of evidence. We need a perfect setup to go short in order to do this because it's the NASDAQ, right? We really like to look for long positions on any of these. All right, so NASDAQ is the strongest to the short side because of those reasons. Now let's go over to the ES. Let me show you here. Okay, ES, you can see still strong readings, right? But we don't have an extended trend on the 3-hour. It's pulling back into the fourth wave, ready to make a move up. We're not quite below negative 100, right? We are below the 50 on the 1-hour, and we're below negative 200 on CCI. So that's good. But hey, NASDAQ is stronger to the downside, right? NASDAQ is stronger. Looks like it's the same pattern on the 15-minute chart. Maybe it wants to pull into this 15-minute trend cloud, right? Make another move down, but you can see the mixed signals going on here, right? Pulls up, goes in here, goes into 15-minute trend cloud, wants to make another move down. However, we're still kind of in a strong uptrend, right? On the 1-hour, we're starting to get a trend cloud signal flashing to the upside on the 3-hour chart. So, it's a bit mixed there. The Dow is the strongest to the upside. We're above the 50 simple, right? Above 50 simple moving average, pulling back into this demand zone that we drew out yesterday. We had a nice move up yesterday on the Dow, pulling back right into the 3-hour, trend cloud. If we had CCI above, positive 200 or positive 100, this would be a great move to the upside, right? So, being that this is the strongest to the upside, we're against momentum. Does this plow through here? It has the tendency, right? It may have the tendency to plow through this demand zone because CCI is so strong to the downside. So you see all of these things you have to take into consideration. The Russell, where are we? Russell is just trying to break below the 50. We're nowhere near negative 100 on the 3-hour, pulling back into the 3-hour trend cloud, continuation of the trend to the upside, trend cloud signal that failed right here. Very strong CCI readings on that 1-hour chart. Heading for ADR on the Russell. That's interesting. We're actually heading towards that very first ADR checkpoint on the Russell. We're at the open here, right? So let's get back over to the NASDAQ and just watch to see what is going to take place here on the 15-minute chart. It definitely looks like it's stopped right here, right? Now, if we get a bullish candle here, and a breakout to the upside, no go for me. Absolutely not. That looks like a bull trap, right? Look at how strong those CCI readings are. See, we've got a mapping system on our chart that is telling us trend and momentum. Oh, we've got a mapping system on our chart that is telling us where momentum and trend are across these major time frames, right? The 3-hour and 1-hour. That's what we use here, right? So If you don't have that, if you don't have some type of pattern recognition software on your chart or your price action mapping system on your chart, it's going to be very difficult. And you're just going to be guessing. I see too many people guessing, oh, it's going long, oh, it's going short. They have they have no idea. All they're looking at is one time frame and one, maybe two candles on that time frame. You can't determine what's going on by looking at just that. So good luck with that if that's what you're doing. But we don't do that here. We've got pattern recognition software, right? We can see the extended trend right here. We can see when price pulls back into that trend cloud, this is where it usually makes another move up. Or you get something that looks like this, right? Pulls back here, pulls back into trend cloud, makes a move up, pulls back into trend cloud, and then stays sideways, breaks through. Okay, this is great information here. This is how we say, wait a second. Perhaps the uptrend is stalled or going down or reversing. What are the clues that we use? Momentum on the highest time frame, momentum on the middle time frame, along with trend on the middle time frame, right? And we've got cycle indicators on here as well, letting us know we're in a impulse phase or corrective phase, right? 1 hour chart is still in that corrective move to the downside and looks like there you go. 3 hour chart pulling into trend cloud, firing off a trend cloud signal right there, trying to make another move up, right? That is the natural flow of the market. Pulls into trend cloud, makes a move up. Pulls into trend cloud, makes a move up. With these CCI readings, okay, with these CCI readings, which is our momentum indicator, it's saying that we've got extremely strong momentum to the downside, right? But yet here we go with a very bullish candle this morning, right? It's still early, still very early, but we've got, an extremely bullish candle forming here. Kind of bottomed out here, bullish candle, but we're still below the 50 simple moving average, and we've got way too much momentum to the downside here. If dip buyers come in, hey, great. Great. It's not my setup, right? I need momentum and trend across these two time frames working together, and they are not, right? Look at this. This is what happened yesterday. Only we had momentum and trend on our side, and it worked out beautifully on the Dow. This is the Nasdaq, right? So we had a huge win yesterday, captured the majority of the move, and added that to our top step evaluation. I think a lot of people are waiting to see what happens. There's big news. President is meeting Putin in Alaska. It's going to be a whole big thing. And that's going to cause some uncertainty probably. After the meeting, I expect, if the meeting goes well, I expect a huge rally in the market. That's when we need to definitely make sure we're on the full contract, trading two, maybe three contracts, take a short target, let that last one run. Okay, that's how we're going to bring in $6,000 to $8,000 a month. That's how we did it in competition. That's how we did it in competition. And it worked out beautifully. So we need to be doing that. I wish I had two contracts yesterday, no risk. I have my risk automatically set at 500. Once I get into the live funded account, I'm setting that max risk to 1,000 because again, that's what we did in competition. And we seem to make enough profit in between losses to easily cover $1,000 risk. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Right now, we're set at 500 full contract trading. Very bullish candle forming here, guys, on the opening range, pulling back into that 15-minute trend cloud. Perhaps we're going to get a really nice reversal here. I'm almost tempted to go short here and, and mitigate risk. But again, it's the Nasdaq, the readings are telling me let's go short. And so we're pulling into trend cloud and we've got this supply zone here, right? Pretty clear supply zone. When do we take supply zones? We take supply zones when CCI is below negative 100. That's when you're allowed to take supply zones. Okay. There's going to be a very wide opening range here. Let's see. Let's recalculate the chart here. Yeah. Super wide opening range. Let's make that nice and wide. So we're expecting the 3-hour trend to fail and break below the 50 simple moving average, right? This is really where we want to be to go long. This is really where we want to be to go long. The blue box is a 1 hour, or I think that's a 15-minute. The blue box there is a 15-minute. Yeah, here, this thing here. That's what I'm looking at. It's really just a drop and a rally. Here's a rally base rally here. Let's box that out for now. Let's box out this rally base rally. We'll do the full rally base rally. Did it go through that or did it go right into that? Not yet, right? It didn't quite hit yet. Didn't quite hit that 15-minute rally base rally. And then we've got this consolidation down here, right? It would be great if this thing broke to the downside and hit this ADR that is right inside of this demand zone here. Talk about buying the dip. This is where you would want to buy the dip today because that's where the average daily range is, that first ADR checkpoint there. Very important to have this stuff on your chart, guys, along with previous day's low, previous day's open. These are great targets and support and resistance levels. Here's yesterday's opening range on the NASDAQ. It completely failed. I think we had everything we needed to go long. But when I saw that the 15-minute chart was extended, it was like, whoa, no way, because NASDAQ loves to follow that 15-minute chart. Trend was extended and then boom, right? Didn't even break out to the upside with all the trend and momentum working together, right? You've got to put all this information together. Price action mapping system, pattern recognition software. That's what Trend Cloud is. That's what it's giving us. That's how we're able to call this stuff out and make these decisions quickly for ourselves, right? All right, we're almost there. Okay, 2 minutes left on this opening range, and you got a very bullish candle forming the opening range here, guys. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. If this reverses quickly, on that 5-minute candle, we got 1 minute left now, and then breaks to the downside. Watch it on the 5-minute chart, but we've got everything we need to go short here. Okay, 30 seconds left. This is a bullish candle so far, pulling into that 15-minute trend cloud. We have everything. It makes logical sense to short that supply zone, but that's not our morning setup, right? That's not our morning setup. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Very bearish conditions. CCI below negative 200. Extended trend on the 3-hour. Very, very strong downward position today. And yet this thing is breaking out to the upside, right? So bullish candle formed the opening range. Could this be a bull trap? Well, it's got all the characteristics of a bull trap. We either take a chance on this, or let's go over to the 5-minute chart now here. Do we take a chance on the bull trap? The setup, the premium setup doesn't consider bull and bear traps, right? This is you either walk away from our setup that we back tested, right? The computer version of this, the automated version of this, which I have, and you guys should have, would not be taking this trade, right? Wouldn't be taking this trade unless it breaks out to the downside. It does not encounter, or the programming does not allow for bull and bear traps, right? So this would be a bull trap, meaning breaks out to the upside with very strong momentum signals to the downside. We're even cycling down here on the 1-hour chart. I don't know, maybe a micro contract. Maybe we go micro contract, 1 micro here. Take a chance at at that. Is that anything else there? That is outside of the strategy, I don't know. I really just want to trade those premium setups. I've been writing that over and over again in my trading journal, getting it straight in my head and just following it. We can make observations, but doesn't quite make sense, right? It's like, it's all this downward trend, downward momentum, but it's breaking out to the upside. So we're thinking that this is going to be very short minutes, about 2 minutes left on this candle. We're on the 5 minute chart here. Okay, candle is having trouble closing outside of that opening range there. What is that line there? What is this? It's like two things together. I can't see what that is. Previous day's close, previous day's open right here. Previous day's close, previous day's right at the end there. Very strong pop out of the opening range. But do you guys see how the candle that forms the opening range? This is very important. The candle that forms the opening range, and we watch that on the 15-minute chart. If that candle is bullish, it's usually a precursor to what happens at the breakout, right? So you put those bonus components together with CCI on the 3 hour, CCI on the 1 hour, trend on the 1 hour. When those bonus components are in alignment with your basic components, you've got something very powerful. That's what I want to put my money on. I'm going to stick with that for the rest of the month. I'll watch this. I'll learn. I'm very tempted to take this short at that supply zone, but I don't mind. I don't mind missing out on that because it's logic. It's my technical analysis skills are at work here right now. I'm putting everything together logically, makes sense, right? But it's not the setup that I back tested. It's not the setup that I back tested. So, our opening range breakout strategy that we love so much, that we're so proud of, top 7% in competition. Why would you avoid using that? So we're coming into the bull trap now. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. Is this a bull trap? It's only a bull trap if we get a reversal out of it, right? Where are we at on the 1 hour chart? Let's see. 1 hour chart, price is above, right? And that's okay, right? The momentum, right? Very strong momentum to the downside on both 3 hour and 1 hour. Whoa, look at this. Look at this. Unpredictable, right? We see we may get a rapid reversal out of this. Look at how sharp. Let me just point something out to you guys. Look at how sharp of an angle is on your 1 hour CCI. Look how sharp that angle is to the upside. I've seen this before, even on the 3 hour. Recalculate the chart. Look at that. Look how sharp that angle is. Let me open this up. I think my picture's in the way. On the 3 hour chart, look at how sharp that angle is to the upside, guys. When you see that, that usually means a rapid shift in market sentiment, right? Cycling up on the 3 hour, still extended, right? We're in that sixth wave. Maybe it wants to put in a seventh wave. Maybe it wants to put in that seventh wave today. Either way, there's no way I can go. There's no way I can go long on the Nasdaq because it's against my trade plan. Now that price is above the 50 simple moving average, now we really have mixed signals, right? But supply zone is holding. Your guess is as good as mine, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I would be so happy if I was in this right now. How did we know that was going to happen? Is this a bull trap, right? Is this a bull trap? Look at that. That is a rapid, maybe it's short term, maybe it works for a little while and then continues the move up. We don't know, right? This is a deep pullback on the 5 minute chart. What's it look like on the 15? Yep, 15-minute came down, hit here. Look at all these Trend cloud signals to the downside on the 15-minute, right? They're all continuing. Oh, look at all of this. It's continuing to work. Like none of these trend cloud signals were violated. It's just a little look at that. Look at that. Did we call it or did we call it? At least for now, right? Mm. Let's get back to the 5-minute. Okay. Look at that. Bull trap, baby. Ooh, look at this, guys. Look at this. Let's see how this shakes out for us. I love that I'm right. I'm not going to feel bad about not taking this because it's not the setup that we look for. But we used our technical analysis skills and, trend cloud to make that decision for us. And there you go. You don't have to take every single trade that you figure out, right? You've got a premium setup that you look for, and you got to wait. You got to wait for it. You got to wait for those premium setups. I think when you start to take every single trade that you figure out or that you find, you don't have any data on it. I don't know. We've gotten burned a few times in competition trading the bull and bear traps, right? Maybe we're just getting better at reading them. Those were very, very strong CCI readings today. Very strong CCI readings. So who knows? Let's see what we got here. 1 hour chart, right? Trying to make a decision here. Both 3 hour and 1 hour are on the negative 100 line right now, right? Major momentum to the downside. Pulls into supply zones, green light. You can take those all day long. We're not quite in a downtrend on the 1 hour chart, are we? Not quite in a downtrend on the 1 hour chart. We want it to be perfect, right? We want the terrain to be perfect. Wall Street slips as hot producer inflation data dampens rate cut bets. I don't know what that means. All I know is we've got momentum and trend. Got momentum to the downside. That's what I know. We've got a bull trap going here right now. It's really maybe it's gonna line up on this supply zone here and then really fail. We've got the extended trend on the 3 hour, and it's trying to figure out what to do here. I'm thinking I don't know, if we start seeing some 5-minute trend cloud signals to the downside and we're still, inside that opening range. But again, it's not our setup. We're just using our technical analysis skills to build a case for entry. We're building our case for entry. But man, if all we needed was a bearish candle to form on the opening range, we could have taken the breakout to the downside. That would have been our setup. But we didn't get that. All right. We are involved in some kind of a bull trap. There we go. Top of the hour, 10 a.m. Look at that CCI now on 1 hour, right? That candle, that's a very bullish 1 hour candle there. Very bullish 1 hour candle. Your guess is as good as mine. It's going to fight for that uptrend. It's going to fight for that upward break of structure. And this is what we might get all day long. Might go sideways all day long between the breakout of the opening range and that supply zone. But look at how we're reading this. Look at how Trend Cloud is giving you, hey, listen, guys, see, very sharp as it was forming, we saw that very sharp upward movement on momentum. And now we've broken above that zero line, looking to break above positive 100 now, guys. If it goes against the strategy, it's going to, or you see mixed signals, no matter how good you are at technical analysis, you're never going to be able to cover every single variable that might take place. Again, that's why we love the opening range, because we're taking two variables and we're fixating them. Where did we want to take the trade? Right here, right at the bottom of the opening range here. Take the trade right here. When do we take the opening range? Well, 9:45 when this forms. Those are two variables that we have fixated. And if it goes against that and you get these mixed signals or it does the opposite of the plan, you're burned, right? That's it. Abort the mission. And whenever we're in a situation where, price is lingering right at the 50 simple, it's really not above, it's really not below. It's kind of right on it. Very difficult, right? That you might as well chalk that up to a mixed signal. We want ultimate conditions. We want spectacular conditions, premium conditions to take a trade. Because you know what happens when you find a premium setup, you go in 3 contracts, 4 contracts, right? Big money, big money. Those premium setups are worth waiting for. Don't screw around with, other things, right? Yes, you can find a trade, you can put together, you can build your case for entry and you can find stuff. Some of them may work, some of them may not work. You don't have any data on it. If you don't have 5 years of data on one particular setup, you're kind of just spitting into the wind, throw it up against the wall, see if it sticks, sort of thing. Right. I really like using Trend Cloud across those multiple time frames. And it's letting me know, hey, huge momentum shift all of a sudden. See, I put it on the chart for you. Right? It's right here. That CCI on my 1 hour chart gave me all the information I need to say this might not be the best, right? It's really excellent showing you premium setups for what we developed here, right? So what did we want today? We wanted, right? We had very strong momentums at the very beginning of the video, right? It was like, oh my God, CCI below negative 200 on the 3 hour, CCI on the 1 hour below negative 200 as well. We're below the 50 simple moving average. Man, all we need to see is a bearish candle form the opening range. And that's it, man. I'm taking that thing short all day long. We didn't get that. And it's disappointing, right? It's like, well, this could be a bull trap. And so far, the bull trap is holding. So far, the bull trap is holding. But then we get this rapid momentum shift on that 1 hour chart. And we're like, wait a second, what's going on here? So maybe we start seeing some chop, right? Oh, breaks to the upside, breaks to the downside, breaks to the upside. Very difficult to trade that. I don't trade that anymore. I don't fight, every day getting in and out of a trade. I don't do it anymore. I don't have to. I've got a premium setup that makes a ton of money. Forget it. Like I just don't do it anymore. I love calling the shots, right? I love calling out the shots and saying, oh, this could be a bull trap here. Look at this. A lot of momentum to the downside, struggling to get above the 50. Trend cloud is showing us extended trend on the 3 hour. Like we've got all the information. We've got all the information. And it's working so far. Here we go. 1 hour, right? 1 hour candles starting to form to the downside here. Right. We noticed these two levels. Trend cloud put the previous day's open, previous day's close right below our supply zone. Look how it went right into the middle of our supply zone. How did we know that? How did I know to tell you guys that? Right? Because Trend Cloud alerted me to it. It's a price action mapping system, pattern recognition software. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. So, if you've got yourself a strategy and you use Trend Cloud to dictate market structure to you, you've got something very powerful. And that's what I'm doing here in the Combine. That's what I've been doing in competition. And it put me in the top 7% of the Leap day trading competition. So a little less than 1 minute left on the video here, guys. I think it's best keeping these short and in bite-sized chunks so that you guys can remember. So that is it. We'll monitor this for the rest of the day. See if this bull trap works. Either way, we're just going to continue to look for our premium setup and make a ton of money with it like we've been doing right along. So I think that's it. That's it for me today, guys. That is the big lesson for today.